Whatever people are as adults, children are not sexual in primary schools.
What you're doing is suggesting that all drag queens are sexual. That's not true.
Well, a lot of them are, and a lot of them going into schools are, and it's been done without parental consent as well, and that's a terrible thing.
Because the suggestion is that the drag queen is somehow inherently inappropriate?
Absolutely, for children of a young age.
I disagree.
Because what the agenda is the whole transgender agenda is to confuse children about whether they're boys or girls. A lot of the number of children who are presenting with gender dysphoria. So
no one's ever been in drag in a children's television program?
The number of children who are presenting with gender dysphoria has gone up over 8,000% over the last decade. And we're talking about drag queens going into the very youngest of children and primary school and with sexualized materials. You mentioned children's books. A lot of them these days are not nice children's books like Paddington Bear and Enid Blyton. They're things that are...
Enid Blyton? What do you mean, the three gollywogs? You think that's a pleasant book? What were the names of those gollywogs? You can't even say it on the channel.
The number of... A lot of the books going in... A lot of the books, if I can finish, please, you know...
Right, guys.
OK, Michelle, go.
Over each other, because everyone
Enid Blyton,
everyone at home's ears will be hurting.
Gollywoggy and who? Those were the names of the three gollywogs, Enid Blyton. But come on, you think that's beautiful? You think that's good literature for kids? Give me a break.
Hang on, Dana, don't take this off track, because we're not talking about Enid Blyton. We're talking about...
He was.
I was asking you, why is it necessary? Because I'm genuinely trying to understand, because to me, it's entirely unnecessary to do this with children.
Well, I think at the end of this article, they do talk about how 50 trans or gender non-conforming people were actually met with violence. Because I think what happens is when you don't... A lot of people
Stay away from people's kids. You don't need to...
Sorry, the implication that somebody, because they're trans, that they're some kind of a child molester is actually the reason why certain people are being sued right now. Sorry.
Why does this...
That's discrimination.
Why does there seem to be such an ideological drive from this movement to be around people's kids? Leave them alone.
Oh, my God. Give me a break. Kids are part of the world. Drag queens are part of the world. They're not these scary people that you would like to be as someone who's going to molest your kid in the toilet. It's just, it's not true, and that's why there's so much violence against them.
Nobody should be sexualizing children.
Nobody's sexualizing children. They are reading a book.
Several examples. Let me give you an example.
Give me a break.
In Houston headed organisations who sponsored Drag Queen Story Hour. He was also arrested for harbouring child abuse images. There is...
And this happens in classrooms where there are no drag queens as well. These are independent incidents, and it's not there because they're drag queens.
Dangerous, this
Give me a break.
utopia that you live in.
It's not a utopia that I live in. These instances happen in the heterosexual... sorry, they do.
Right, last question, very, very briefly. I've only got about 20 seconds left, Dana. Are you not concerned about the amount of children that are now struggling with their gender identity?
11-year-old drag queens.
Hang on. Are you not concerned about that?
I'm concerned about trans people who are closeted and feel so ashamed in this world because they don't see any representation of themselves, and often have higher numbers of suicide, self-harming, keeping themselves away from society. They are a part of our society, and I'm sorry, the implication that a drag queen is inherently sexual or that they're going to do something with your kids is bigoted.
Children are not trans and should not be indoctrinated into this trans ideology and confused. That's what causes a lot of the
trans
gender dysphoria,
ideology. It's not an ideology.
They need to be protected
Gender dysphoria is medically recognized.
Right. Okay, Durkee. You guys, I hope you've enjoyed your tea and the debates. Thank you very much to my panel. That is unfortunately all we've got time for.